Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. This one has a bit of a Reaction Monday mix to it, too, doesn't it? I mean, it just feels that way due to the holiday. And you know what? For our Top 10 today, how about the Top 10 overreactions to Week 1 of the college football season? And, you know, starting with Clemson and LSU, they are officially eliminated from playoff competition. That's it. They're out. That's it. LSU, Clemson, goodbye. You're out of the playoff consideration. I mean, maybe not, but it feels that way. And Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are 1-2 in the Heisman race. I mean, that's a clear overreaction. I mean, you get the idea. Now, we're going to hit as much of it as possible, and we have left hour one completely open for you. At the top of the second hour, Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer will join us with reaction to Hugh Freeze's maiden voyage as the head coach of the Tigers. Auburn is off to California for a meeting with the Cal Golden Bears, which should be interesting. But most of the rest of the week will focus on the first game of the year, with Texas coming to Tuscaloosa for what still feels like a revenge game. Now, you say revenge game. It must be a revenge game for the Longhorns. No, it feels like it's a revenge game for the Tide, who have had to listen for a year to how Texas would have won that game if Quinn Ewers just hadn't gotten hurt. Kind of like Colt McCoy in the 2009 Natty. You know, if Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt in the 2009 Natty, they win that national championship against Alabama. You got to listen to that. So we'll have a lot of that to cover throughout the week. And, of course, it's opening week of the NFL, and that gets started on Thursday night with the Lions in Kansas City to take on the Chiefs on a game you'll hear right here on our air as well on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Tom Luginbill is coming up in hour number 2 as well. He was on that Duke upset of Clemson last night. We'll get into that with him. What a weird game that was. I mean, Clemson just kept crapping down their leg inside the 10-yard line or whenever they had an opportunity to make a play. And you know, Duke wins the game 28-7 and got outgained by, you know, a couple of 100 yards, it felt like, in that deal. And then also, I think the first downs, I haven't pulled up the stats yet in front of me, but the first downs were something like 26-14 or 29-17 or something like that in favor of Clemson. They just couldn't finish. And I don't know what happens next for them. You know who the big loser is in the Clemson loss last night? Florida State. Florida State's the big loser in that one because Clemson was the only other top 25 team that Florida State's going to play. They needed Clemson to be better than what they're going to be right now. So phone lines are open. Let's use this first hour for your reactions. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You could text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a tremendous way to communicate with me. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are on the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN, where you can watch the show on our YouTube channel, WZZN TV, as well. There's a link to it there. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and get notifications. Go to 977ESPN.com. Get links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get that app, man. You have to have that app. Just search the 97.7 ESPN The Zone from your app store, and then you have not only the radio station, but you also have links to Zone 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well. All our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. You can check out the calendar for everything that we've got going on this week. But I can tell you this right now, it's another big Friday night for you this week. 5 games on our network. And what's cool with the app is you can just bop around between games. It's so cool. You just, boom, you want to switch the channel? You just change the channel. Go to a different game. Just like that. John McGough and I will have Buckhorn and Gadsden City on the air in our primary feed, while Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird have Madison Academy and J.B. Pennington on Zone 2. On 3, Bailey Lowry and Drew Harmon have Randolph and JP2. And on Zone 4, the Abraham boys, Joe and John, have Austin at Sparkman. We'll see if Sparkman actually plays a full game in this one. I think they will. Austin's pretty good. Sparkman, of course, the first game, they're up 31-0 at Hazel Green, and then the game gets, they don't play the second half, as it turns out, because of a flash mob at the game. And then last week, they were up like 55-0 at half at Huffman, and they come out and play 4-minute quarters for the third and fourth quarter. How embarrassing is that? Todd Blass and Tony Woods, Coach Woods, will have the game of the week from Milton Frank, that Huntsville and Grissom game. That game needs a trophy or something. That game needs a trophy, and that game needs a name. I mean, Buckhorn and Hazel Green playing the Cotton Classic. That game should it be like the Rocket City Classic? Or should it be the Parkway Bowl or something? Guys, help me out. Huntsville and Grissom needs a name. I mean, that's a pretty big rivalry game. Probably needs something. I get something there. All right, so where do you want to go? I'm going to get right into the list of things after I get some thoughts in here on Alabama. I'll save my Auburn thoughts for when Justin Ferguson joins us. But the Tide just eviscerating Middle Tennessee. Just taking apart Middle Tennessee, starting out with that ridiculous Jalen Milroe run, 21-yard touchdown run after he picks up a bad snap and then just runs it in. Makes a couple of people look foolish, stumbles around at the 5-yard line and into the end zone. I mean, Milroe looked pretty good throughout that game. Now, again, he'll start again this week, and it'll be very interesting to see what he looks like good on good. It's going to be a little bit different when they face Texas. But he was 13 of 18, 194 yards passing, threw 3 touchdown passes, did get sacked a couple of times. He also ran for 48 yards on 7 carries. His 16 yards and losses on the 2 sacks go against the rushing total. But he did run for a couple of touchdowns. In fact, the quarterbacks ran for, I think, 4 touchdowns, right? Ty Simpson and Ty Buckner also both ran touchdowns in. And then Jace McClellan with a touchdown running. Maybe a little bit of a surprise was that Tyler Buckner was the first quarterback off the bench. I thought that was a slight surprise. And then Ty Simpson. And no, Dylan Lonergan did not play in this game. And if Dylan Lonergan is not playing in a 56-7 blowout, when is he going to play? I'll tell you when he's going to play, next season. I just don't see it happening. I've said that all along. I know he's had a great fall. He looks like the future. I don't think he's the present. Right now, Jalen Milroe is the present. And what did I say last week when they announced that well, they never announced it, but when it became known that Jalen Milroe would be the starting quarterback, I said, look, Alabama fans, stop talking about this kid is going to be the starting quarterback to start, and then by midseason it will be this guy or that guy or the other guy. Just get behind this dude. See what this guy can do. He was efficient with the ball. Took care of things. The one thing that bothered me a little bit was in the running game, they had some big, like Jace McClellan had a 20-yard run, but then on the rest of his runs, he gained 19 yards on the rest of his runs, on the other 9 runs. So he ends up with 10 carries for 39 yards. I mean, he averaged 3.9 yards per carry, but 20 yards on 1 run. So he had 9 carries for 19 yards in the standard running. Roydell Williams had 7 carries for 36 yards. That was 5 yards a carry. Now, by the time Justice Haynes got in there, you started seeing a lot of backups in. Haynes actually averaged 7.2 yards a carry on his just 4 carries. Jam Miller had 14 yards on 4 carries. But the rushing attack, I would have liked to have seen more. If Jace McClellan is the guy, I would have liked to have seen more than 3.9 yards per carry and 20 yards on 1 carry. I mean, the rest of the carries, he averaged 2 yards a carry. So the thought that they would line up. Now, there was a few times you saw that line, which is massive, line up and just blow people into the end zone on a short yardage situation. You saw a few things. Now, Middle Tennessee, give them credit defensively. They did some things defensively. They were disguising some things. They played a little bit of what we used to call a bastard defense. They were sending guys all over the place, and it makes it a little bit tough to block up. So I would have liked to have seen more production out of the running game. It's deceptive. The numbers say 205 yards rushing on 40 carries. You averaged 5 yards a carry rushing, so all is well. Well, some of that was broken plays. Milroe with his scramble for 20 yards for the touchdown, or 25 yards, whatever that was, 21 yards. McClellan's 20-yard run. I would like to have seen more 5, 6, 7-yard runs. But we're nitpicking. The best thing that I saw in that game, I'm going to be totally honest with you. You know how I am about this. I'm like a broken record. 2 for 19. The stat of the game, 2 for 19. 2 penalties, 19 yards. 2 penalties, 19 yards. Not 10, not 12, not 8, not 15, 2. I told you it was correctable, and they corrected it. And Nick Saban talked about it. I'll give you his comments here in a few minutes of what Nick Saban had to say about penalties in general. I thought he had a fantastic comment regarding penalties. So that's out there. You want to react to Alabama's win? You can do that. You want to react to Auburn taking care of UMass 59-14? You can do that. If you want to react to the fact that everything in the world is right now because I went 4-2 and beat the big dog and Grizz went 2-4, you can react to that as well. Sooner Rick went 3-3. So I have now broke out on top of you, the listener. I had Utah and laid to 4.5. Wait a minute. I'm wrong. Grizz did not go 2-4. Grizz went 1-5. And the listeners went 2-4. So it's all right, once again, the way it's supposed to be. I went 4-2. I had Utah. I had Nebraska. We all had Nebraska. We all had South Carolina. We all lost with South Carolina. North Carolina looks pretty good defensively. I had Florida State, as did Sooner Rick. Grizz had LSU. LSU comes out in the second half. It just gets blown out. The thoughts on that. We all had Middle Tennessee getting 39.5. They needed like 59.5. And I had Auburn and laid to wood. Grizz and Sooner Rick had UMass. We'll update you on how the Friday trifecta went as well. But right now, let me get that little guy over there. He's over there in a little glass booth with the slanted ceilings. He's playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax. He's manning the phones. He's keeping us on the air. He's the one and only DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today. What's that? Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Grizz, so you're just backing up to give me a little chance here? You figure you drop a little 1-5 on the board to start out beat the big dog? Is that what it was?
You know, I think I don't have the paper in front of me, but I think I started 1-5 last year. So I'm off to about the same start as I was last year. I think I might have gone 2-4 or 1. I mean, I was bad last year too at the start.
So that was the plan, probably.
Yeah, no, it was. It was definitely the plan.
Yeah, until you get.
I love when a plan comes together.
You get things. You're probably feeling good about LSU, weren't you, on Sunday night?
Man.
And then they just absolutely laid an egg to start the second second half of that game. I mean, it was a disaster.
Yeah, no, I actually got kind of bored watching it a little bit. I kind of flipped away a little bit because when it just seemed like LSU just laid down and it was just like I said, it was kind of difficult.
Of the guys that called in their Friday trifectas.
Yeah.
All right. This is just of the guys that called in. I haven't graded all of the ones that came in. I mean, there's so many of them in the other deal, online, and I'll get those to you guys today. Of the guys that called in, Paulie in the Cape and Grumpy both hit not only all three aspects of the trifecta, but they hit the bonus question as well. So Paulie and Grumpy are among those that break out on top. Yeah. Job by them. Woo! Now, Paulie is not anywhere near, what did I do? I did Corralejos this weekend. So Paulie is nowhere near Corralejos. So he's not getting any food. Grumpy will get food at Corralejos. But I got to look at the ones. I mean, we had 1 million come in online. So I got to look at those ones that came in as well. What was your thoughts during the Colorado TCU game? I mean, that was out of control.
I mean, it was absolutely crazy what Shadur Sanders was able to do. I mean, Hunter playing both ways. I don't know if that will last. We're talking Shohei Ohtani.
Well, you can't go 129 snaps a game?
I don't know. I don't think I could do that. I don't know if I could go back and forth and do that. I'd be having oxygen. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable to see on the first game.
May have
it's
been
cool
the best
to see
player on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I like it. I want to see it. I do want to see if he can sustain success throughout the rest of the season like that. But I think he definitely has a better chance of being dominant on the defensive side of the ball, and really helping Colorado in case they need that, late down the stretch.
Yeah, ultimately, I think of him as a corner that is a spot player on offense. But you know what?
He's Dion.
They don't have those.
He's
He's Dion. They don't have those numbers.
Yeah.
Depth is going to catch up with them eventually, but it sure was fun.
And
look, this is what sports is about. This is why when people talk about reality TV and they get all excited about reality, there is nothing that's more reality TV than sports. Colorado goes in there as a 21-point underdog. 21, Deion Sanders' number. They were a 21-point underdog in that game. And they go in there, and then not only do they hang, they win the game against a team that was in the national championship game last year, although they shouldn't have been. I mean, that TCU team last year had a bunch of games that they were really close in. And the dirty little secret is, if you look a little bit closer, TCU had 541 yards in that game, and Colorado had exactly 0 tackles for loss. Nothing behind the line, not even a sack, not a tackle for 1 yard loss, nothing tackles for loss. That's gonna be a problem for them. Here's the other side of it. I think they're gonna beat Nebraska.
Yeah,
Nebraska's got no offense.
They look terrible against Minnesota at Minnesota.
They got no offense, right? So Nebraska, and it's going to be the first game at home. They're going to break out 2-0. Now they're going to lose to USC. They're going to lose to Oregon, things like that. But this is what makes college sports fantastic. And this generally doesn't happen in the NFL. No. That kind of an upset. This is what makes it a 21-point dog. Deion, all the doubters, 80 new players, 50 kids out of the transfer portal. His son's the quarterback. And what do? The kid sets a record for Colorado passing. The Travis Hunter going both ways. The other kid, little number 3, Edwards, right? Dylan Edwards, I think is his name. Dylan Edwards. That was a Notre Dame commit that dropped Notre Dame to go to Colorado when Deion got the job. He's unbelievable. That freshman was unbelievable.
I think it's what's scary is he's able to do that with, like you said, how many transfers he's had.
50.
We talk about what Hugh Freeze is doing at Auburn with the number of transfers they're bringing in, where it's like
we don't know what Hugh Freeze is doing at Auburn.
But the thing is what could Deion do if he was at a bigger school than Colorado and dominating and doing all this and everything like that? I think the one thing I wasn't a big fan of was the L and the D on the shoulder of each player, where it's like a leader and a dog.
Yeah, is that what you think they were for? Is that what they were for?
That's what it was.
D means dog?
D means dog, and L means leader.
I thought when I saw the D, I said, that must mean he's a dog.
I was like, no other coach needs to do that to hype their team up. And Shannon Sharp went on ESPN.
Did they have any captains, or were they the captains too?
The leaders, I think, were the captains, and the dogs were the dogs.
Just a dog?
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like, I didn't really like that because it's like, no other team has to do that to get their team to play behind them. And Shannon Sharp said that on ESPN and tried to throw that on there too. So
it's okay.
It's just
all right. As long as they do it.
It was just kind of like silly to see. Like it's just a little L and a little, like a little D in a sense. I mean,
text window wouldn't want Dabo to be a successor to Saban after that showing last night. Yeah, I mean, that's a different conversation. After that, look, you go back and look at Nick Saban when he was at Michigan State. Or some of the games he lost at LSU, would you wanted him to be a successor to Nick Saban?
Yeah.
Would Nick Saban be your choice after LSU got beat by, who did they get beat by? Troy? Remember that?
Oh, yeah, Troy. Yeah.
So would you say, look, I don't want Nick Saban to be the head coach at Alabama after he got beat by Troy? Now, come on. Let's not get crazy. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. Phone calls are next. Paulie is up. Wolverine Dan is up. LSU Lynch. I hate to say it, Lynch.
LSU Tigers, #1. Go Tigers.
Yeah, right. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. Well, Lynch he's got a good heart, right? He's got a good spirit. So no, maybe not. Don't cuss on the air. All right, we'll come back with phone calls next. Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, and pick up the phone to call, one you've seen on a billboard or on TV begging for your business, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center, not in some office 100 miles away. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to. We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tax-free week is back at Freedom Marine in Gunnersville. The annual Freedom Marine Pontoon Sale now through Saturday. Get special pontoon boat sale prices, factory rebates, and only during the sale, Freedom Marine will pay all of the Alabama state tax on your Bennington, Low, or Veranda pontoon boat purchase. But these deals are only good now through Saturday. Tax-free weekend is back at Freedom Marine on Highway 431 in Gunnersville. Find out more at freedommarincenter.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Everything you need is just a click away.
Come up sometimes, silly.
Okay, almost everything.
Come on, Bob. Tell your fortune.
Log on today. 977ESPN.com. 977 ESPN, The Zone.
Heading up to San Francisco for the Labor Day weekend show. I got my hush puppies on. I guess I never was meant for glitter, rock and roll.
Killing me.
And honey, I didn't know.
I mean, there you go. If you missed it, Jimmy Buffett died over the weekend, just 76 years old. He had skin cancer since 2014, and they had kept on top of it, but it somehow got into his lymph nodes in the last 6 months or so, and he was sick. I mean, he died with family around him. It wasn't like they woke up and Jimmy Buffett was dead. I mean, he was dying at the end there, and this is a guy that lived his life in the sun. So for him to end up with skin cancer, I mean,
Yeah.
But I can't tell you how big a Buffett fan I am. I mean, people wouldn't think that about me because I'm a Southern rock guy and everything else. I love me some Jimmy Buffett, and my kids were texting me 5, 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning, I believe, or Saturday morning, I believe it was Saturday morning when he passed. My kids were texting me, and they're like, "Oh, Dad, you're not going to believe this. Jimmy Buffett died." The first one that texted me was my daughter Caroline. She was in the Keys on her boat. And she texted me at 5:30 in the morning. Her and her fiance were on their boat in the Keys. Obviously when you're thinking about Jimmy Buffett, right, you're thinking about the Keys. And they were out on the boat, and apparently he had died like Friday night or something like that. So early Saturday morning, she texted me and said, "Dad, Jimmy Buffett died." And she was a big parrot head as well. So fins up, Jimmy Buffett passing away. And my kids they just know coming out for breakfast or on Thanksgiving morning, coming out when I'm prepping the turkey and everything else for Thanksgiving morning, they know that Buffett is playing. That Changes in Attitude, Changes in Latitude is playing, downstairs. And, and that's what they heard. That's what when they were little, that's what they remember waking up to, coming down and Dad's got Buffett on, chilling to, it's a little calypso music. And Jimmy Buffett. And some people don't know. Of course, he was born in Mississippi.
Pascagoula, whatever it's called.
Yeah, down in the Mississippi coast. Yeah. But he grew up in Mobile, Alabama, and then ended up ultimately. I mean, he early on was more of a country artist. Really, he went to Nashville. He recorded in Nashville at first, and then he ended up, in the Keys and so on. So. Just sad to hear that Jimmy Buffett passed. This segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. Use the orthopedic specialists that pretty much every high school in the region uses. TOC Sports. Alabama A&M and Huntsville Havoc also rely on TOC. but it doesn't have to be a sports injury. It could be a work accident, or maybe you're just breaking down a little bit. TOC is the right specialist for you. North Alabama's largest sports medicine provider is TOC Sports. Stay in the game with TOC Sports. All right, let's hit the calls. We start with one of the guys that hit all four elements of the trifecta. Paulie's been waiting for the trifecta all summer long, and what does he do? He hits the first one all the way across the board, so he gets 2 points on the big board, along with Grumpy. And I'm going through the others. Kramer has got a point. Grimm has got a point because they hit the trifecta portion of it. But I'm going through the others to see if we have anybody else that hit the whole deal. So I've been looking at the ones that went in online. But Paulie is first up today on the show. Paulie, welcome to the show. How are you?
Pretty good, Tom. I warned all your listeners.
You did.
I'm on. I'm going to be getting it all. And you can always call Hooters over here and get me 20 shrimp for anything I'm not winning over there.
I probably could get that done for you. There's no doubt about it. But, I mean, just the glory of being able to knock this down right out of the chute, I mean, that's pretty good. And I hope, maybe you threw a couple of shekels on these games. These were your picks, so maybe maybe you picked up $1 or two.
Well, hold on. Let me first of all, Keith Olbermann needs to shut up. Number two.
Wow, what's he talking about? What's he talking about now?
Oh, what he said about that girl who lost because he lost to a guy that wanted to play girl sports, and she lost to a guy, in the swimming, and he called her. Well, you suck at it. That's why you lost to a guy.
Oh, that's what he said. He said because well, maybe Keith Olbermann should become a woman.
Yeah,
that would be a good idea.
He was when he started talking about the ball was juice way back in the '80s on ESPN, and even Dan Patrick said, "Dude, you need to lay off of that." MLB even had to cut one open and go through the chronological history of the ball just to shut him up that he wasn't juicing the balls. And then when he got upset that he wasn't popular more, and Dan Patrick and Scott Van Pelt and the other fella were getting popular, he started, the guy, you know the word that rhymes with door? Well, he's an attention door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like, oh, my God. But anyways, Michigan, Ohio State, the Big Ten, the worst division. I lost all my profit on those two games right there.
No, I mean, it doesn't make them the worst. I mean, come on. You can't say that makes them the worst. What's the worst is the Big 12. The Big 12 was the worst. The Big 12 was disgusting. They didn't. Not only did they not win any Power 5 games, they lost 2 games to Group of 5 teams. The Big 12. The Big 12 is not a power conference. I'm sorry.
I understand that, but what I'm saying, Michigan with a quarter and a half, all that is score 1 touchdown to cover, and they sat on it. I mean, unbelievable. And then Ohio State averaging 18 to 21 points a half, and they can't get more than 10 points against Indiana.
Well, that's last year. Ohio State's offense did not look very good. That was last year when they had it. Yeah.
I was up $300 into those 2 games, and I gave $250 of back on Michigan and Ohio State because they can't play football.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And then what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, you noticed when the quarterback from LSU thought he was Superman and thought he could fly over the top and then got drilled?
Yeah.
You noticed the LSU was changed after that. He was hurt. He didn't want to tell anyone about it. But ever since he jumped into that pile and that guy suplexed him, it was over. That game was over right there.
Well, they just didn't make any adjustments coming out of it. They got outcoached. I mean, when one team comes out of the locker room, because Jaden Daniels doesn't play defense, and Florida State came out of the locker room and absolutely opened a can on LSU. They just went off offensively, and they outcoached him.
When he got drilled, I'm telling you, that whole offensive swagger was stuffed right there when he got, and then, of course, you could say goodnight to Clemson 5 years ago. Oh, they're unstoppable.
Yeah.
They're a juggernaut team.
Yeah.
We don't know what. And now what? They can't even beat Duke? I said last, remember? This is a team just like Oklahoma for a while. They couldn't cover anymore. Why? Because they just weren't getting any of the recruits. Now here's Clemson going to go through that 3-year, season where they get beat by weak teams, you better start taking the teams that are getting the points against them because they're not going to cover.
Well, we'll see. Certainly in week 1. That's what we call. That's why we call it Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday this week. But it is everything is an overreaction at the beginning of the season. There's no doubt. But yes, Clemson looks to be a little bit in trouble.
And I can't wait for Sunday because that's when I make my suicide pick. Dolphins all day.
Terrible, stupid suicide pick. Do not make that suicide pick. Pick an easier game.
Dolphins all day.
You got the whole schedule available. You don't take a team that is an underdog in your suicide pick.
That's why I'm putting $100 on the first half because they're getting 1.5 points, $100 on the game because they're getting 3, and I put a parlay, $50 over in the first half. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
All right. Make sure you call us about that one. All right. Good job, you. Appreciate it. A suicide pick is you pick a guaranteed winner each week, and you lose that team then for the rest of the year. You understand how a suicide pool works?
Yeah, you can't use
it. So if you looked at the NFL schedule this week, you take a team that is a big favorite.
Yeah.
That is certainly going to win a game. You don't take a team that's a 3-point dog in a suicide poll. I mean, a poll.
Ride the wave. You know what I mean? Ride the lightning.
Right when I think Paulie's smart, he does stuff like this. Like Paulie.
He's all show. He's gonna dominate this first week and then not win the.
All right. By the way, I've got the. Everybody's graded now. All right, Paulie and Grumpy. With 2 points. Grumpy gets the chow because Paulie, I don't have any, what do you say, Hooters he wants? I might could get him Pinter's Crab Shack down there.
He wanted
I don't have any Hooters.
For Hooters? I haven't been to Hooters
I didn't even know Shrimp had Hooters. Do they
Hooters
still have a
Shrimp?
Hooters in Huntsville?
It's on University.
Is it still there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I thought for some reason I thought it closed. So Paulie and Grumpy, Mongo, Grim, and Kramer each got a point. If I haven't called your name and you think you got a point, let me know and I'll tell you what you did. But right now, the way I got it is Paulie and Grumpy with 2 points each. Mongo, Grim, and Kramer each pick up a point. Wolverine Dan is up next. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Let's do some business first. Friday, I took my wife and I and another 3 couples. Badger Larry's one of the couples. We went to Caruso's. Is that what they call it?
I don't know. I never heard of it. What's Caruso's?
The Mexican place. The Mexican place I met you at the other
Corralejos. Corralejos. Caruso's would be an Italian restaurant. Coralejos. Jeez.
Coralejos. I always get
Where's
that
me?
wrong. I got to start. I got to remember. I remember the first part of the word, cor, and then leos, like laying down.
Yeah.
Coralejos. There you
Coralejos.
go.
Yeah.
I went there. I want to do some business, man. I'm telling you, Wolverine Dan knows grub. That's my new Mexican place. I'm telling you, the plates, I should have brought a measuring tape. I could swear the plates are 1.5 feet long by at least 8 inches wide.
Did you?
And my wife and I couldn't finish our meal. We started with a cheese dip with chorizo sausage in it. It's fresh. The chips were fresh. Badger Larry had the special. A pitcher of margaritas, Tom. They come out with a pitcher, and they bring 2 glasses that are already rimmed and full of margaritas. So he gets a pitcher and 2 big glasses of margarita for $20. You're not going to go nowhere in this town to get that. And that plate I ate, or what Ginger and I tried to eat, $15 for 2 people to eat out of 1 plate, and we couldn't finish it. I'm telling you, this place is phenomenal, everybody. You got to go out there. It's the real deal.
Did you tell him that you heard about it here on the radio?
You know what? When he saw me, he said, "Oh, you're the guy that fits in your high school jersey." I say, "I'm Wolverine Dan." He goes, "Yeah, man. He knew who I was. Everybody knows who I am. You know that."
There you go.
All right, so let's get to the real deal. Talk about my knee guy, Wolverine. Well, I'll say this. JJ better not get hurt, and I'm speaking of our starting quarterback, because if he gets hurt, we're doomed. Our backup is awful. Oh, and Corum, I don't know, man. I think he's lost his step, Tom, since the injury, so this is going to be shaky. I don't know. I mean, I want to be boastful about my team, but they played well. They played, the hearts are always in the game. but that's not a concern.
It was Central Michigan. Don't get not Central Michigan. Don't get all up in arms over that game. I mean, it was you're talking about East Carolina there. All right, so it was East Carolina.
Okay.
So don't get too excited.
Well, I'm excited good or excited that I'm worried?
No, don't get excited bad. Don't get too worried. It's East Carolina.
Okay, well, yeah.
You know,
okay.
I mean, come on now. It's East Carolina, and you know,
Yeah, all right.
Corum averaged 7.3 yards a carry. I mean, what the heck do you want out of the guy? He had 73 yards on 10 carries.
Yeah, I know.
The other kids struggled. Donovan Edwards struggled a little bit. He only had 37 yards on 12 carries. Corum's fine.
Well, our tight end, Loveland is pretty strong, our tight end. But so in my closing, yeah, Paulie, I'm not like you, man. I ended up even higher. I put K-ish on the first game. My Lions are going to shock the freaking world, and I didn't give any points. Straight up, Paulie, with a big C note on it, okay? Hey, it's going to happen because, Patrick Mahomes, which ate my homie, is going to be chilling with the ring on the index finger or the wedding band, whatever.
Yeah.
Probably through that wedding band. I'll put that.
By the way,
And the Lions are going to get really pissed. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to smack them in the mouth. Because it's not only got the Goya side, you got France.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Wolverine Dan. We get the point there. Yeah, you're not going to win that game. I'm just telling you. I mean, you're not going to win that game. It is on our air. You'll be able to hear that on our air, but you're not going to win that game. Suicide picks, though. I mean, that's just a terrible, terrible pick in a suicide game. We shouldn't be calling it a suicide pick. They changed it. It is eliminator. What are the other terms they use for it? They stopped calling them suicide polls. You know, we're not necessarily
Survivor pool.
Survivor pool. There you go. That one is one that I'm okay with. That not, you know, I'm not Mr. Politically correct guy too much on that stuff. But that one I'm okay with.
What are suicides called? They called wind sprints now, or like what is a suicide?
Ooh.
Like, do you say suicides? Like,
no, yeah,
you can't say that anymore.
I bet they don't call them suicides anymore. You know what you can't say anymore?
Down and backs or something.
Our guy said it in our Bible study on Sunday, in our Sunday school after service on Sunday. He was telling a story about a friend who was an Eskimo, and he was talking about Eskimos. You know, you can't say Eskimos.
Yeah,
I told him that. Yeah, you can't say Eskimos anymore. They had to change the name of the Edmonton Eskimos to the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah. I think we talked about that before. Actually, on one of your shows. Yeah, for sure. I like the helmet. It's literally like the Buckhorn helmet.
If you wanted to take,
and then until they changed it.
If you wanted to take a survivor pick game this week, it would be the Ravens and the Texans. Texans at the Ravens. That's the kind of game you take. The Texans at the Ravens. I mean, Paulie, I don't understand it. All right, I give LSU Lynch a lot of credit for jumping in. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you? Are you doing all right?
First and foremost, can you hear me?
I can.
Y'all know I am not sensitive. I am not sensitive.
Okay. All right.
Whatever y'all want to dish out, hey, it makes me laugh. What y'all did a while ago, y'all want to do the FSU Atlanta Braves combination right there? Hey.
Yeah. There we go.
Dude,
yeah.
I just felt, look here, my thing with that game is once again, FSU got a great defensive line.
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
You got to give them boys credit. I mean, because they're still kids at the end of the day. But when you still have a 6-year quarterback, once again,
yeah,
I mean, the boys should be in the NFL, okay? But that's going to be hard. Not trying to. We had some bad coaching moments. We did. Special teams ain't there, and like you said, we did not adjust. And what?
That's the thing I'd be concerned about. You led the game at the half, and they came out and went nuts on you in the second half. That's what I would be concerned about. Is that in the second half they came out and outgained you 246-55. They outscored you 24-0. It's like you come out of the locker room and you get dominated. That would be scary to me. That's a coaching issue.
It really is, Tom. And I love talking smack, and it ain't gonna stop me from talking smack. But, it's my team. And, Alabama looked good. Look here, Auburn looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, look here. Y'all was talking about the Colorado game. Watching that game, I still got chills right now because those kids were really playing.
Yeah.
You hear me? Those kids were playing, and it was great. It was a great game to watch.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
I mean, awesome. And my last thing today, and thanks for taking my phone call, if y'all are Havoc fans, the season single game tickets have gone on sale today.
Ooh.
The opening night is almost sold out. And they have moved to military night. It's usually like March 23rd, somewhere in there. They put it to April 5th. It's the last game this year.
Really?
Yes.
What is opening night for the Havoc? When is opening night?
It's, hang on.
October 15th, 20th? 20th?
27th. 27th.
27th? That's the first home game.
Yes.
That's the home opener, is 27th? Okay. Yeah, they opened down in Birmingham against the Bulls on the 20th, and then the 27th is the home opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got 25 home games. So I think it
should be 26, isn't it? Because there's
25, 26.
Yeah, 26, because there's 52 games in a season, I think. So, all right, man.
Anyway,
can't
I
wait.
Appreciate y'all. Come on.
I got to check and see what the Havoc gear is this year. I want to check and see what their uniform is, because they kind of tweak it every year.
I love the black jerseys. With
I wish
the
they would
circular
just.
Havoc,
I love the
Huntsville
red
Havoc hockey club. That one's my favorite.
I love the red jersey with the Havoc logo
with the red
over just the regular red
Yes.
jersey with they have such a great. I know why they do all those alternate uniforms, and they make money for those and for the players and everything. I get that. I just love the Havoc uniform, and I wish they would just wear their uniform. One of the best things about when I was doing the Birmingham Bulls games was that when the Havoc came in, they always looked like the Havoc because they would wear their white or the red, depending on what it was, what the Bulls were wearing. But I love the fact that you would see their usual uniform. At home, a lot of times they're wearing the alternate uniforms, and those are never as nice as the Havoc uniform. The regular Havoc uniform is so beautiful. I love it. All right, let me get one more in here before we get to the break. Smokey Mike is up next. Smokey Mike, welcome to the show. How are you?
Big dog, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Sure is.
I can't play it one bit, but to give Lynch a little bit of hope, I remember LSU getting destroyed by a certain particular team last year and ended up winning the West, so there's still the rest of the season for you guys.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look for the SEC going 1-3 in non-conference games. I will say that.
Who was the one?
The one would have been that there. Well, they played a weak team in Virginia, but yeah, at least they won that game. So Tennessee getting over on Virginia, but in non-conference P5 games, the league was only 1-3, and that was not that's not a good look for the league.
Yeah, my back. Like us ball fans, we're tired of carrying the SEC right now. I mean, geez.
By the way, can you do something about that god awful, ugly uniform they're wearing this week to honor Conridge Holloway? Why don't they just wear the uniform that Conridge Holloway wore? Wear the orange jersey with the white shoulders, or the white jersey with the orange shoulders. Why do they got to wear smoky grays with orange shoulders? I mean, it looks like terrible, ugly uniform they're wearing this week.
It's above my pay grade, big dog. I don't know what I can do about that.
It's horrible.
But, I mean, with Dabo, just watching that game last night was pretty jaw-dropping as, like, really? Now, NIL is one of those that seemed like it's really just made Dabo go nuts.
Maybe.
And he's starting to become more like a certain particular coach that got destroyed about 73-0 this past week, if you know who I'm talking about.
Well, I think the bigger issue for Dabo was the mistakes that they made. And when they were winning, they weren't making those kind of mistakes. And it reminds me a little bit, I mean, Alabama didn't get beat like that last year, but it reminds me a little bit of Alabama, how they kind of started making more and more mistakes. And that's what you saw last night. I mean, they could not finish. They gave the ball up time after time in the red zone. I mean, when you look at the numbers in that game, it makes zero sense that they lost that football game. Except for the fact that they shot themselves in the foot time and time again, down by the red zone. And that's what ended up killing them.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. And, I mean, Clemsoning is officially back now since the Dabo doesn't have a generational quarterback.
Ouch. 422 yards for Clemson in that game. First downs, 29-17, Clemson in first downs. 29-17. Almost had twice as many first downs.
It's just unbelievable. Yeah. That was the most shocking result out of the whole weekend, and that's even including the Colorado game. And, I mean, if you laid $1 on Colorado, good job on you.
Well, look,
money, but
Clemson said they had a front seven that they thought was as good as any front seven that they have had since Dabo has been there, and they gave up 200 yards rushing to Duke. 6.6 yards a carry Duke had on the ground.
Well, that backup running back Moore for Duke got me a little bit of quiche last night, so that was a very nice thing for that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, goodness gracious, Dabo. Come on. I don't – he's going to be fired within like a year and a half if this keeps up.
No, they're not going to fire Dabo Swinney. That won't happen.
But anyway,
right.
I just wanted to check in, Big Dog, and I can't wait for September 16th and that massacre that's going to happen in the Swamp. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it looks that way right now, that's for sure, man. That looks ugly.
All right.
Appreciate you. They haven't won down there, and Tennessee hasn't won down there in Gainesville in over 20 years. But there's no reason to think they're not going to win that one. All right, let's get a break in there. We'll come back, see if we can't stick Grumpy in here before we get to the top of the hour next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Don't let your back or neck pain get in the way. Get back to doing the things you love with the spine and neuro team from Huntsville Hospital. As the most experienced in the area, we have been improving lives in North Alabama for more than 50 years. Whether your favorite fishing hole is on Wilson Lake in the Shoals, Flint Creek, or Lake Gunnersville, Spine and Neuro is nearby to get you back to your best. Visit us online at spineandneuro.com to learn more.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Injuries at work happen all the time in Alabama. So do motor vehicle and slip and fall accidents. If you're hurt at work or injured in an accident, I want you to call my good friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. That's Pond Lehocky, Alabama's injury law firm. They got your back just like they've got mine. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
The representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Our zone deal this week is truly an award winner. Metro Diner, serving up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest priced mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. This Friday, you can get $50 worth of great Metro Diner food for half price, just $25 with our zone deal. Just log on 977ESPN.com Friday morning at 8 to get yours.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, Flash Band the Nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
Your
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back home for the final games of the 2023 season, starting Tuesday, September 5th, as they host the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Tuesday, get here early for one of the final giveaways of the season. The first 1,500 fans through the gates are going home with a Sonny DeShera bobblehead. Get your tickets now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Listen weekday afternoons starting at 5 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It's perfect.
So busy today, I forgot to tell you that tomorrow the show is going to be down at Toyota Field for the last day game. It's the last week of the Trash Pandas for the last homestand, and it's the last day game of the season. We will broadcast live down there this upcoming tomorrow. We will be down there tomorrow on Wednesday. Here's the thing. What do I have, Grizz? 20? I got 20 tickets to the game. 20 tickets to the game. If you want a pair or 4, 2 or 4, 2 or 4, okay? I don't want to do threes because it screwed up. 2 or 4 tickets to the game. Simply call the show and say, give me 2, give me 4. Call us now and just tell Grizz, and we will send you the tickets immediately so you have tickets for tomorrow's game. 2 or 4, all right, for the game tomorrow. All right, let me get Grumpy in here. Grumpy, welcome in. How are you?
Pretty good, man. You got to love old Dan, man, doing a promo for a restaurant he doesn't even know the name of.
Yeah, that is really good. And and Danny T called in. He said Wolverine Dan is off his meds, but I will say he's highly entertaining and knows where the best places to eat are, even if he doesn't know the name of the restaurant. Yeah.
Well, if he doesn't know the name, is anyone really at the table with him eating?
That's a good point.
You know,
But he had couples.
But hey, listen. I think LSU, man, I think some of those players quit, and that's hard to fix, man. They weren't hustling in that last bit. I think LSU quit, and that's a very dangerous thing.
That's really bad to say. I mean, you're bringing in the Q word. That is awful if to put on a team.
Listen, this is why, and here's my sports take. This is what I really called for. Alabama's got 3 players on the offensive line over 350. I don't think anywhere in college football history there's ever been 2 people on the offensive line starting a ball game over 350. It sounds like a shocking stat, but I don't think there's ever been a line with 2 people over 350. Alabama's got 3 over 350. The center weighs 305. That probably brings the average down, but does Alabama have the largest offensive line in the history of football, including the NFL this year?
I was just going to say, I don't think I've ever heard of 3 offensive linemen over 350 in the NFL. And it may be the largest offensive line since ever. There's no doubt about it. That's why it was a little bit disappointing that they weren't able to roll up and just kind of pound the ball between the tackles a little bit more. Jace McClellan only had 19 yards on 9 carries. He had 1 carry he snapped off a 25-yarder on, or a 22, whatever that was. But then the rest of his carries, he only had 19 yards. I kind of was looking for more times where they would line up and just have 6, 7, 8 yards a carry. They really didn't do that. They got stuffed, several times.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you. All right. 1 hour in the hopper. I can do 10 hours today. Luckily, I've got all week long. Don't forget to go to Alumni Hall to look the part. All your Auburn and Alabama gear is at Alumni Hall. Right there at Bridge Street is where you will find Alumni Hall. Right next to the Kona Grill, across from Connor's Steakhouse. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall before you head to your favorite place to watch Alabama and Auburn play football. Speaking of Auburn, when we come back, Justin Ferguson, he is up next from the Auburn Observer on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Team USA on to the semifinals of the FIBA World Cup, rolled by Italy in the quarterfinals today, 100-63, 24 points for Mikal Bridges. U.S. back in action Friday, playing the winner of tomorrow's Latvia-Germany matchup. Rams hope to have more clarity tomorrow on receiver Cooper Kupp's availability for Sunday's season opener in Seattle. He's seeing a specialist about his hamstring issues. Angels two-way star Shohei Ohtani will remain a two-way player, according to his agent, still evaluating medical opinions on the tear in his right UCL, but his agent says Ohtani will be ready at least to hit at the start of 2024, regardless of how much longer he plays this season. Boost for the Rangers pitching staff as they continue a pivotal series tonight against the Astros. Nate Eovaldi returns from a forearm strain, hasn't appeared in a game since July 18th. Texas, one back of Houston and Seattle in the AL West.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have the state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you don't happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Corralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Corralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, hats, Yeti, accessories, and gifts. Whether you're heading to the spring game or shopping graduation gifts or just love to show your school pride daily, come see us at Alumni Hall. University students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in store, and you can earn cash back with our Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com.
Listen to the Bama Recap Show each Sunday morning at 11, presented by Freedom Marine Center on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back, hour number 2 of the Tom Abraham Show. The segment brought to you by our good friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. When you have that work accident or motor vehicle or slip and fall accident, or if you're hurt at work, call my friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. Not just excellent attorneys, but true advocates who will fight for you, and they know the ins and outs of the legal game. For personalized and dedicated legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838. That's 855-774-3838. Or pondlehockey.com. Grizz, do you have any idea what the weather forecast is for tomorrow? Have you seen that?
No idea. I've not looked that far forward. No, and I have not listened to the update.
Ricky Fernandez is asking if we're interested in doing the show from a double suite tomorrow instead of here's the thing. He says it'd be more comfortable than a rock porch, but I want our listeners to be able to come by and see us and hang out with us a little bit. The rock porch is kind of cool.
Is that party deck open? I mean, we could hit the party deck. There is the party
it's the same
deck.
as the rock porch. The rock porch is like
the party deck is in like left field, and it's above, and it's like it looks over the field, and it actually has like a protected over area, covered.
Oh, it has a covered thing. Yeah. I kind of like that. I mean, I want to catch another foul ball.
They probably have it.
Or I want to catch another home run.
Yeah, that was cool.
We got to check the weather. Yeah. We'll check the weather. By the way, we got 12 tickets left.
We have a tent, so maybe we bring the...
No. I don't want to bring the tent. You look up the weather while I talk to Justin Ferguson. We got 12 tickets left. So we got 12 tickets left to the game. So if you want a pair or four, I'll give you either a 2-pack or a 4-pack. Simply call while I'm talking to Justin Ferguson and then Tom Luganbill. You just call 256-576-4977 to tell Grizz, hook a brother up. And you got to kind of say that, though. You got to say hook a brother up. Hook a brother up. And he will hook you up with tickets to the game, all right? We'll email them to you, so you'll get them in time for the game. So you do that. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline from the Auburn Observer, where everything you need to know about Auburn is right there, is Justin Ferguson, and he joins us now. Ferg, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing well, Tom. How are you?
I'm fantastic. A smooth evisceration, if you will, of UMass. Apparently now UMass is 1-1. No more 1. I didn't see them tweet out we're 1-1. They did tweet out we're 1-0 after they beat New Mexico State, but now they're 1-1. Your immediate observations from what you saw?
Yeah, it was a smooth win for Auburn, like you said. They didn't really show a ton in the passing game. They ran the ball pretty well. Defensively made some mistakes, had some miscues early, and gave up a late touchdown with some reserves on the field. It wasn't a style point heavy game for Auburn, but they didn't make the mistakes that were gonna keep UMass in the game. Didn't turn the ball over, forced a couple of turnovers, didn't give up a sack. I mean, these were things that they were worried about because UMass was going to gamble and do a lot of different things to try to get after Peyton Thorne in this offense. So I think they took care of business. Put up some big numbers against an overmatched team, statistically made impact plays, offense, defense, special teams. But a lot from the film and a lot from what they talked about this weekend that they feel like they have they got a lot of work on. They got a lot of work on. This team still got a long way to go. Some of the things they did against UMass, they 100% aren't going to be able to get away with against Cal this weekend.
Jarquez Hunter did not play in the game. We can almost kind of see that coming. Does anybody know whether or not he is good to go now for Cal? Was this a one-game thing, or is there going to be more missed time?
No word yet. I wouldn't be surprised if he is out for another game. Wow. He missed some time in practice earlier this year. I wouldn't be shocked. But nothing from Auburn one way or another officially. We'll see if he's been practicing. He's kind of done everything leading up to it, but he just didn't play against UMass. UMass didn't dress out. I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't play against Cal. But we'll see. I think it'll be another one of those things until they take the field to warm up in Berkeley on Saturday, and I don't know if anybody's going to know for sure.
Yeah, they did. It's not like they couldn't run the ball. They ran the ball for 300 yards without him. So, I suppose that is a pretty good thing. And part of that running attack really was Red Zone Robbie. Is it Robbie Red Zone or is it Red Zone Robbie? I like Red Zone Robbie better myself personally, but clearly we see what the plan is for him, especially once they get inside the red zone or inside the 10.
Yeah, no, it was a great game for Robbie Ashford. They used him in a package. Made UMass play a little bit more 11-on-11. when Auburn wasn't really, clicking like they needed to on offense and, weren't going to try to show off too much, it was a perfect opportunity to get Robbie Ashford some snaps. And I just go back to, the practices we saw in fall camp. One of the things that stood out to me the most was just how effective Auburn was in scoring when they would run red zone drills or inside the 5, inside the 10 drills with Robbie Ashford in the game. And that's a real weapon. You didn't get asked to throw the ball a ton, didn't really do much there. But running the ball, man, he's still one of the most effective guys Auburn's had in a while. And that's a weapon that they can use. And as long as it doesn't hurt the flow of the offense or, is a detriment to either of the quarterbacks, Hugh Freeze said they're going to keep doing it. And I think, that was a really, really good debut when you have, 3 rushing touchdowns in one quarter for your backup quarterback.
Yeah, and 51 yards total on his 9 carries, so he averaged 5.7 yards per carry in the game. Of course, they had some long runs. Sean Jackson with a 45-yarder, Jeremiah Cobb with a 42-yard run in that game. Peyton Thorne was 10 of 17. That's not, off the charts great, 141 yards. And did throw that one touchdown pass to Jay Fair. I think was a 29-yarder or so to Fair. But overall, your take on Peyton Thorne?
Solid. Didn't put himself in a lot of trouble. Didn't make a ton of bad decisions. I think there were about 2 or 3 that Freeze said they wish they'd have had bad. A lot of those RPOs. Hey, do you need to hand it off here? Do you need to throw it? Kind of thing. Made some mistakes there. Had a couple misfires, but had 3 really good deep balls in this game, including one where he broke a tackle in the backfield. The guy had him dead to rights for a sack, and then he rolled left through across his body and hit a guy down the sideline. Just kind of a real tight window there. Threw the ball deep to Javarius Johnson. Had some good back shoulder connections with guys. He showed that he can stretch the field and give some explosive, upside to this Auburn passing game, even when Auburn wasn't asking him to go out there and just throw the ball all over the place. So I think the more he gets into this offense, the more he'll feel comfortable making those, decisions in the RPO game. But he did, show that, once he kind of can get rolling a little bit, he's got a good arm to him and can really stretch the field with it. And it'll be interesting to see just kind of how much more Auburn will ask him to throw the ball on Saturday against Cal.
Justin Ferguson with us from the Auburn Observer talking about the game. Of course, the Auburn Observer's got a tremendous deal for you right now, and you can take advantage of it. They've got great podcasts there and all kinds of coverage, in-depth coverage of the Auburn Tigers, and not just football as well. So the thing starts out, they score 3.5 minutes into the game. Auburn does take the lead 7-0. Then they kick off, pin them down deep, 11-yard line, and you're thinking, oh, the route is on. And then a funny thing happens. UMass goes 89 yards in 8 plays, and it's like, whoa, what just happened here? They rip off some big runs in that drive, and they score in 4 minutes, and now it's a 7-7 game. And then the route was on. From that point forward, Auburn dominates the game. But they did a lot of it happens in that first drive. There's no doubt about it. But they did give up, over 5 yards per carry. And when you take the sacks out, maybe it's even a little bit more than that against UMass. Yeah. How much of a concern is that run defense?
Yeah, it's a concern. And it was a concern all throughout fall camp. It was a concern last season. It was Auburn's biggest weak point last year. And the thing with Auburn's defense is that it's a new scheme. They got so many new players all over the place. Defensive line, this is not a very deep defensive line. It's not a defensive line that has the Derek Browns and Colby Woodens that you've been used to seeing from Auburn. These star players just don't have a ton of star power, don't have a lot of established depth at that on the defensive line. And in a new system and in a new scheme, I think it's really starting to show. Freeze said yesterday that he felt like they needed to do a much better job of getting off the blocks. That was something that they were really concerned with coming out of the UMass game. Alignment, communication on the back end, getting everybody set up. That was another thing that really concerned them. So that played a part in it. Now, Auburn did do a pretty good job on defense after that first drive, and really kept them out. But there were still some plays where, like you said, UMass, like over 6 yards a carry. Once you take the sacks out, they did rip off some big runs later in the game as well. So that's a real concern because you play Cal this weekend. Cal's got Jaden Nod, who just had a phenomenal game against North Texas, had a great freshman year last year for the Bears. And then they've got other guys. They got a Montana State transfer that had a big day. They had their third running back had a huge day against North Texas as well. The team is very comfortable using a bunch of different running backs, and that is Auburn's weakness right now. So they have got to step up and play better. Maybe the communication and the alignment and the tackling tightens up after week one. You get improvement there. But the fact of the matter is just Auburn's defensive line just has not done a good job to start the season, and that was a concern coming out of camp, and didn't really comfort those fears after game one.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Cal, they ran the ball 56 times in that game against the Green Mean, and 357 net yards, a 6.4 yard average. So that is what they are looking to do, come out and run the ball. They only threw it for 174 yards with their starting quarterback in meaningful time. They did throw a couple of interceptions, but they did run the ball very, very well. But again, both cases teams were playing teams that they're overmatched against. So we'll see what happens with this one. So when was the last time Auburn played in California in a regular season game?
USC in, let's see, that would have been 02, 03, one of those
Better part of 20 years since they've been out there for a regular season game.
Yep, and then the only other game they've ever played on the West Coast in the regular season or in the western part of the country is Arizona in the 70s. This is it. This is rare. This is super rare for Auburn to do, and so they get Cal on Saturday night, and then as it stands right now, all these schedules are going to be blown up, I think, over the next few years. But Auburn does have an agreement to play UCLA in a few years at the Rose Bowl. So, there could be another trip coming up. But, yeah, really, really rare that Auburn gets to go to the West Coast to play. And for everybody over here, it's a 9:30 local kick. And that is the latest kickoff time in Auburn football history. So you're going to have to really, really get yourself ready for that one.
No, that's okay, though. That's a nice way to end the night. You know what I mean? Where we're all sitting around on a Saturday night. Are you going to I assume you're going to the game? You making the trip?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, so you'll be making a trip. For those of us not making a trip, it's a nice way to end the night. Be in a rack by then, put the game on, put the headphones on, not to bother my wife, and sit there and watch the Auburn game till after midnight. I got no problem with that at all. I think that's good stuff. Justin Ferguson with us here in the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And it'll be interesting to see what else what more of a scouting report can you give us on this Cal team. We know that they ran the ball well last week, but they weren't not very good team last year. I mean, they were not good at all. So what else can you tell them about them? What can we expect?
Yeah, the interesting thing there is that their starting quarterback, Sam Jackson, the fifth, a TCU transfer, got hurt early in that game against North Texas. It is unclear if he's going to be able to play on Saturday, but they did, like you said earlier, their backup quarterback did a really good job. Came in through the ball really well. They ran the ball well. So they felt pretty good about their offensive end, but keep an eye on Sam Jackson is a really talented player. Won the job in the offseason, and it'll be interesting to see if he's going to be 100% or not. Defensively, Cal puts the shot out in the second half against North Texas, really tightened some things up. Justin Wilcox is their head coach. A longtime defensive coordinator, Wisconsin, USC, Boise State, Tennessee. I mean, he was all over the place. And then he's been at Washington. He's been at Cal now for the last several years. They haven't really been super successful, but that defense, Free said, yesterday, you're not going to get a lot of flashy, exotic stuff out of his defenses, but they're usually really fundamentally sound. What you see is what you get out of that defense, and they do a really, really good job of executing their calls. So this Cal defense, I think, looked better against North Texas on Saturday than we expected. Their offense definitely looked a lot better than expected. So it's going to be a tough game. Auburn's only a touchdown favorite away from home. That feels like a good number, a good line. Auburn's a more talented team, but Cal's got, not only the advantage of the fact that Auburn's having to come from the other side of the country, they've got some continuity there. Because this coaching staff's been there for a while.
Is there a return trip as part of this deal? Is this a home and home? When do we see Cal coming to the Plains?
Supposed to be coming back next year. So Auburn will play Cal early in the 24 season here. As it stands right now, Cal is going to be a power conference team moving forward because of the weird ACC deal that they've made.
Yeah, that'll be a big SEC ACC game. I mean, when you think ACC, sure, you think Cal, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
why not?
I tweeted this earlier in the week. So Thursday I'm going to drive to Atlanta, which is in the ACC, and I'm going to get on a plane, and it's going to be a 5-hour trip just to get to Berkeley on a plane. And that's still in the ACC as well. So I don't.
Is that all it is? Is 5 hours? I thought it would be even longer than that. I mean, you can get there in 5 hours. Well, so when you're there, I understand somewhere from the campus, I think you can see the Pacific Ocean. So you should take a picture of that and say, this is what the Atlantic Ocean looks like in California because this is this is an ACC team in California. I mean, it's so stupid. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's such a mess.
It is really a mess. I mean, there's no doubt about it. All right, well, it's a good start. Finally, was there anybody, or give me a name or two that you saw and you said, "Whoa, that looked pretty good. That was something we didn't see coming."
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. Jeremiah Cobb broke off a really good run, a touchdown run. His second career carry at the college level, broke away and made turned on the Jets, looked really, really good. He ended up being Auburn's leading rusher for most of that game. I think if Hunter's not able to go, you like what you got out of Damari Alston and Brian Battie, but Jeremiah Cobb really, really impressed me. And then on the defensive side, Donovan Kaufman had a phenomenal game for Auburn. Last Saturday, he had from the nickel spot on the field, he rushed the passer 5 times. He blitzed 5 times. He got to the quarterback 4 of those times, including a strip sack. Made some big plays left and right. This is a guy who I think wasn't really sure what his role was going to be in this defense. They like Keontae Scott. They can move some guys around in that secondary, but Donovan Kaufman got his opportunities against UMass and showed up pretty well. He's kind of the personification of what you want to see in a Ron Roberts aggressive, blitzing, attacking defense. He got off to a really good start, and that was super impressive from him.
Justin Ferguson has been our guest. Ferg, tell them how they can subscribe to the Auburn Observer.
Yeah, auburnobserver.com. Check it out. We've got a lot of stuff on the site today. Film room yesterday, breaking down a lot of what was going on the field. Have newsletters coming up these next few days. Podcast previewing the Cal game comes out on Thursday. Mailbag on Friday. We've got a ton of stuff coming, and like I said, I'll be in Berkeley all weekend. So auburnobserver.com, sign up. We email everything to you there. Once you pay your subscription, $6 a month or $60 a year, and you get everything sent to your email inbox at about 6 a.m. Central Time each morning.
Very, very cool. Appreciate you. We'll talk next week. Have a safe trip.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. By the way, Kerry in Scottsboro says that Alabama's offensive line averages 6'5", 339 pounds.
Eesh.
It's got to be the biggest offensive line ever.
Y'all sending me to Cal, by the way?
No.
Oh, okay.
We was going to, and at the last minute,
no Tide Travel or Tiger Travel or anything like that?
The last minute decided not to send you to Cal. Drew is going. We're sending Drew. No, we're not.
Man, Drew on a plane to California.
Can't even get Drew to go to the planes.
It's only a 3.5 hour
At our meeting
drive.
today, we're like mapping out everybody's responsibilities for the rest of the year, and we're like, we'll send Drew to the Iron Bowl, and then like Drew's like, no, I ain't going. He won't even go to the planes for the Iron Bowl.
I'll take that one every time if he doesn't want to go.
I'll be honest with you. The last one I was there at was Kick Six. I'll say that. I do not have good memories there either. I was there for Brody sack, or they sacked him 11 times. I don't know, I forget what year that was. That must have been 06 or 07. 06, 07.
Yeah.
Should have never taken the ball. So they took the ball, and then they said Mike Shula, they won the toss and took the ball. And so what did Auburn do? They put them in the student section. They made them go with their backs to the student section, and it was downhill from there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 15 minutes of massacre. And Auburn's running reverses and all this crap and everything else. And it was weird because at the end of that game, it felt like Auburn had won that game by 30 points, and it really wasn't as bad. It was like 15 points or something, but it felt like they destroyed
it. Felt a lot worse, yeah. It felt a lot worse around school, too, when I was in high school, too.
Sack after sack. Every time Brody Croy went back, it seemed like he got
For having the first one ever to go to was 2019. That was pretty crazy. I mean, to get rushed on the field and get that whole experience after Auburn won and everything like that. Did
you rush the field with
Yes, I did. No, I was standing there recording while people were jumping into the bushes. And then 2021 was, to watch Bryce come back. My goodness, back and forth. I mean, it was.
Oh, you were there for that?
Yeah.
I was there. I haven't been back since Kick Six. I always tell the story. I was on the air nationally at the time. I was on the air coast to coast on CBS Sports Radio, and Rob Bramlett was right behind me, and Stan White. I mean, literally, there's a picture out there that's floating around when it's happening, and you see me standing in front of them. I'm literally one level below them, outside, right in front of them, and I could not hear them a lick. And my memory of it is I finished my hit on CBS Sports Radio, and I headed out. My wife and kids were in the basketball arena, and they were showing it on the big screen that they had just in the
Oh, yeah,
basketball
yeah,
arena
yeah.
over there. And I was heading out of the stadium, and as I was heading out, people were rushing in. So half of those people that were on the field weren't even at the game.
Yeah.
People were rushing in, to get in there. So, and I remember, I'll never forget it. I remember like it was yesterday on national radio saying when they were lining up to kick the field goal, I said, I don't know who's going to cover this if it's short. Because there was, all you've got, as an old special teams guy, all you've got is fat linemen, a holder. Even your wings are tight ends or fullbacks. So you got fat linemen, a holder, and the kicker. And there's nobody to cover it.
Yeah.
And they put a guy.
Nobody was ready for that. And I think that 19 game at Auburn, they had the HSSA state finals there in Auburn, and they didn't know if the field would be ready or everything, and they had to kind of fix the bushes and everything. It was crazy. I mean, it was a wild night.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, Thom Luganville. He's up next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State hometown team. Yellowhammer Roofing. Let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industries, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go higher and go Army.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We drop into the low 70s as we head into the overnight. Not a bad Wednesday morning commute, maybe a little bit of patchy dense fog, those that actually saw rain this afternoon. Otherwise, a partly sunny sky this Wednesday. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-90s. Isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms certainly going to be possible. A couple of those thunderstorms could be on the stronger end of the spectrum with some gusty winds. We drop into the upper 60s, lower 70s as we head into the Thursday morning commute. A mostly to partly sunny sky once again. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-90s with isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, a couple of those could be on the stronger end of the spectrum. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the service team at Woody Anderson Ford. Not only experts in the service of Fords and other makes, but they also use genuine Ford and Motorcraft parts on every Ford service job, from tire rotations, wheel alignments, brake jobs, oil changes, to engine tune-ups and transmission work. Our service department and Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center have got your Ford and other makes covered. Check out the certified gold pre-owned vehicles as well, and all the new inventory at the corner of Sparkman and Jordan Lane is where you'll find Woody Anderson Ford. The only place I've gone to in the Tennessee Valley since 2004 is Woody Anderson Ford. WoodyAndersonFord.com to learn more. All right, joining us now, I got to hit a hell of a week, hell of a weekend anyway, in Tom Luganbill. And let me just say this about that, because we'll get into the Colorado stuff with him. We are in the business, and what we do, we are in the business of absolutes, having an opinion, having a take. All right, people don't tune in to hear us say maybe, if, it can be, it might be, well, if this is it. They don't want to know about that. They want you to have a take, and you're going to have a take, you're going to live and die with that take. Sometimes you die with that take. Luke's getting roughed up a little bit. Luke's just getting roughed up a little bit. But I was more concerned about him last night, to be honest with you, because he was in the middle of a bum rush on that field when Duke upset Clemson. And Luke joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Thom, welcome in. How are you physically and mentally?
I'm in great shape. I'm good. There's not a single bruise on me. I'm all smiles. I'm on about my 5th shower, considering it was literally the hottest night game I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah.
And here's the thing you got to understand. So I figure in cowboy boots, 49 years old, no stretching, I'm probably 5 flat. But I'm being chased by a bunch of 5'4" that got a minimum of 1,400 on their SAT.
Yeah.
So I'm in good shape. I figured the odds were in my favor.
I saw you bouncing off a couple of players, though, and I thought at some particular point in time, it looked like at one point you might have almost gotten lifted a little bit off the ground. So I figured that, somebody had grabbed Elko's hat, I think. I thought, they're going to try and grab his mic or his mic stand, his mic flag or something along those lines. That's what I was worried about, that you would get, because you did not have a cop with you. You had some dude with you running behind you, but I didn't notice that you had a cop until you got to Elko.
Well, I don't think the guy I had running with me realized what we were getting into, because he should have been in front of me, right?
Yeah.
So I just go, and here's actually the crazy part of it. So I go, and I get all the way to Elko, and right as I get to him, the broadcast drops in my ear. I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And now I'm going, oh my goodness. I know my IFB, which is my earpiece, has gone out. Has my mic gone out too? I'm pressing the button trying to talk to the producer. I can't hear anything, and I'm looking around frantically. And on TV, you guys are seeing all the cool scene shots and things of that nature of the field being rushed. And I look down at my right leg, and the cable that plugs in my IFB, which is my audio in my ear, had gotten knocked off as I'm trying to get to Elko, and it's dangling down by my leg, like below my knee.
Right.
I pull it up, put it over my back, and plug it into my earpiece. And right as I do that, I hear Dave Pasch go, "Lugs, are you somewhere down there? Do you have him? Are you with us?"
Yeah.
And that was literally right when I put my earpiece in. So it was a crazy turn of events, man.
Well, that may have been, I don't know if you've gone back and seen it at all. That may have been the 3rd time, because he calls for you twice, and there's no answer. And now we're getting nervous. Now we're getting nervous, because we're like, oh my gosh, he might have gotten trampled. And because Pasch calls to you twice, and then the 3rd time he said, "Lugs, are you there?" And then that's when you jump in. So
there you go.
Yeah, so he was trying to get you at least 2 other times. They were trying to get you. My question is, why the cowboy boots? I mean, can't be that comfortable. I mean, you're standing on your feet for 4 hours, 5 hours, however long it is. Everybody else in the business is wearing sneakers, except for the chicks that are wearing high heels. I don't understand why aren't you wearing some more comfortable footwear? Why are you wearing your kicks?
I'm just a boot guy, man. And
Okay.
Anybody who's got cowboy boots and wears them knows that when you break them in, they're not too dissimilar to a good pair of sneakers or tennis shoes that you've broken in as well. Just always been my thing. Like, I don't own a pair of dress shoes.
Really?
I never owned a pair of dress
You're a boot
shoes
guy,
in my entire life. And so that's just what I wear. And I was getting them all ready to go. And then I got in the hotel room last night. It's about 1:00 in the morning, and I looked down at my boots. And they're full of field paint, white, blue, you name it.
I didn't know how you found him or how they found you. I had that experience once where I was in the booth and we had a sideline reporter that was a young lady, and we had to tell the truck. Now, this is 24 years ago, so it was a little bit different technology-wise. But the truck lost her. They couldn't find her on any of their monitors, and it was a bum rush scene as people going out onto the field. And we were telling the booth, because we're up in the booth, and we were telling the truck where she is, and we're like, man, you better get somebody, like a couple of people around her. She was a little girl, she's out there trying to interview the coach. It does get a little bit dangerous. You could see why in the SEC they find. Now, they didn't have enough people there, I don't think, left to cover the entire field. This wasn't like Tennessee over Alabama. I didn't see them throwing goalposts in the river or anything. But it can be intimidating. It's scary down there when it's happening like that.
Well, it is, and that's the very reason why we didn't have our handheld camera with us like we normally would for a post-game interview, because that guy's carrying 500, feet of cable behind him, and it's dangerous. Like, there's no way he would have been able to get there. So all I was told is when you get there, we're going to film you. Don't worry about where it's coming from. Just do the interview. So I didn't know the angle that went on air when I was doing it.
Yeah, no, they got a shot from up top for sure.
Yeah.
Thom Luganville with us here. All right, so it was an amazing thing to see. Some people think it was even more amazing than what happened with the Colorado TCU game, even though TCU was in the national championship. We'll get to that in a minute. But Clemson here, I mean, when you look at the numbers, you say, how did Clemson not win this football game? But they just kept shooting themselves in the foot down in the red zone one time after another. And even when they scored, the one touchdown they scored, it was so difficult to score from the 3-yard line. It was crazy how hard it was for them to get Shipley in the end zone on that little swing pass from Klubnik. So it's, overreaction Tuesday, if you will. It's always great the first, day after the first weekend of college football. Two things that we are very certain of, though. Clemson and LSU are now completely out of the college football playoff scenario, right? I mean, that's a first overreaction. They're out. They're done. Forget about it.
Well, potentially. But, yes, on the surface, I would say so. But I came off of the Clemson-Duke game, and I feel like I'm not overreacting. How many times have you and I talked about this, that most games are lost, they're not won?
Right.
And so it didn't matter how many yards Clemson had. It didn't matter what their time of possession was, okay? It didn't matter how they completely shut down Duke's offense except for one play in the third quarter. They had 3 offensive drives that went all the way down to the 1, the 4, and the 7 and came away with no points. The only points they had in the game was because of a muffed punt that Duke had. And so really at the end of the day, Clemson and Duke were kind of trading miscues, right? Those first-game miscues, a procedure penalty here, a turnover, a flag, whatever. And then come out of the locker room, and it wasn't as if Duke played all that better. They just made fewer mistakes. And Clemson just kept compounding mistake after mistake after mistake. And I told you when we came on live on the broadcast, if you hadn't seen Riley Leonard, you were going to like it. Because that guy is a dude. And Duke's got some guys, man. That's not the Duke team people generally have in their mind when they think of them.
What is got some guys? Is they an 8-4 football team? What are they?
They won 9 last year. Kind of surprised everybody, but they didn't have Clemson, Notre Dame, or Florida State on the schedule. They have all 3 on the schedule this year. Mm-hmm. I think they're a better version of their 9-4 team last year. The problem is the record may not allow for it. But when I say they've got guys, like their front on defense can flat out get after you, and they're rotating 7, 8 guys. They've got probably a potential first-rounder or second-rounder at left tackle. They've got an NFL guy at center. Couple of wide receivers that I think are really, really quick. The thing, and I said it on the broadcast, Tom, the thing that was so glaring was it didn't look like there was a speed discrepancy between the two teams.
Yeah.
Like standing there on the sideline, especially with Duke on defense versus Clemson's offense, those wideouts for Clemson couldn't get open.
When you look at Clemson, too, Thom Luganville with us here, you know who the big loser here is? It's really kind of Florida State. Florida State needs Clemson to be decent because Florida State, that's the only other team on their entire schedule that is potentially a top 25 team. Maybe Miami by the time they get to that game November 11th. Probably not. But now that Florida State has done away with LSU, Clemson, they need Clemson to be a little bit better. You know what I mean? I mean, they can't have Clemson, sucking. Now, not that they're going to suck. I mean, they're going to, they got a couple of layups the next couple of weeks before they play Florida State. But, Clemson's got Notre Dame, and they've got at Miami, and they've got North Carolina. I mean, dare I say, they got South Carolina who beat them at the end. Dare I say, could Clemson be a 3 or a 4-loss team this year, what you saw?
Yes, they could. If they were to continue to play the way they played last night. I got to be honest with you. Remember that phrase, Clemsoning?
Yes. Yeah, we brought it up in the last segment, but yes.
Right, all right. So that phrase had gone away for the last 15 years. And they basically did just that last night. And I was just floored by how that thing played out. And coming into the game, Clemson felt really good about the team they had. They were healthy. They had a great camp. Everybody's excited about Garrett Riley and Cade Klubnik. I got to be honest with you. What I saw, wasn't any different than the last 2 years of offense at Clemson.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. Their best two players are the two running backs. I'm not convinced they have a quarterback, and they don't have any wideouts that can run. So that's going to be a challenge for them because Florida State on defense is going to be real problematic. Now they got to go to Death Valley, but yeah, I don't think that's a far-fetched stretch to say that they could potentially be looking at a 3-loss season, which would be no bueno for them.
Well, they were talking about their defensive line and linebackers like this was, especially the D-line, that this was going back to some of the great Clemson D-lines that were putting 2 and 3 guys into the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
They gave up 6 yards of carry to Duke. I mean, they gave up 6 yards of carry,
Yeah, they gave up 6 yards of carry, but a lot of that was the 48-yard run.
Yeah.
But the thing is, to your point, Barrett Carter, their best linebacker, has Riley Leonard dead to rights in the backfield for a 6-yard loss,
right,
and screws it up. It was unbelievable to watch. But you know what? Like, how many times have we talked about this too? If you're outmanned athletically and you're hoping to have a chance to win, you got to play better than the other team, and the other team's got to help you out.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened.
It's also exactly what happened at TCU. Where TCU, nobody's talking about this. TCU had 541 yards of offense, and Colorado did not have a tackle for a loss, not one tackle for even a 1-yard loss in that game. So they need some work defensively. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But TCU looked like the TCU that was getting blown out by 60 points by Georgia in the national championship game, and then you go back and you look at TCU last year and how many close games they won. And It makes you start wondering, and I don't want to take anything away from Colorado. We'll get to their side of it in a minute, and the chipping that you're taking from a 19-year-old kid. I love it that Travis Hunter is invoking your name. I think it's pretty funny. But TCU should have never been a 21-point favorite probably in that game, or shouldn't be a 21-point favorite over anybody, it seems.
Yes. And listen. There was a multitude of reasons why that game played itself out the way it played itself out, but you have to give Colorado credit.
Yeah.
And on that day, they were better prepared, made less mistakes. Sorry, my dogs are disagreeing with me outside, if you can hear. They made less mistakes, and they made more plays down the stretch. Now, here's the reality of the entire situation with this whole deal. Colorado's got some space players on offense that can cause a lot of problems, but they can cause you a lot of problems if you give them a ton of space. And I didn't think TCU had a great game plan to be very disruptive either at the line of scrimmage or to come after Shedeur Sanders and try and get him off platform, and that just wasn't the approach. Colorado last year allowed 245 yards a game on the ground. They allowed 265 on Saturday.
Yeah.
And so it was, number one, it was a fantastic win in a game that they deserved to win. And listen, I owned it. I owned it on Twitter. My comments last Monday were poorly phrased because I was talking in football talk, top to bottom, and I should have been more descriptive when I referenced the roster.
Yeah.
What I was actually talking about was depth, and I should have flat out said that, and I didn't, and that's on me.
Yeah, they got three players that they could have. I mean, you were quoted, for those that don't know. The quote was, "You thought UMass was the worst roster in college football. It may be Colorado's," and that's Tom Luganville, and then Travis Hunter retweeted that with, "They got the worst roster in college football." Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, and the Dylan Edwards kid, the freshman that turned down Notre Dame to go to Colorado.
Unbelievable.
Those kids can play anywhere. I mean, those kids are starting almost everywhere with Sanders and Hunter. I mean, 129 snaps. This can't go on. I mean, you can't do that.
No.
I mean that it just. I don't know. I don't understand why they don't spot him. I would have him on the field defensively for every snap, but I would spot him offensively. He seems like a guy that you want to put in at times offensively. He doesn't need to play 60 offensive snaps. He needs to play 15 offensive snaps and go to him half the time that he's on the field because they can't stop him anyway. But those three guys can play anywhere.
Though.
Yeah.
The reason why he is playing that much is because the guy below him is a way notch below him, right? So
yeah.
Again, it's the depth over the course of the season, all right? And I'm not saying that they're not going to be a problem for people. Clearly, if they stay healthy, they'll be able to score on some people. And all that does is make the Pac-12 more intriguing because the Pac-12 is hell on wheels on offense.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody, I don't care if it's S tier, I don't see how anybody, just from a statistical probability, is going to get through the gauntlet of that conference and not lose at least once. They could have a 2-loss conference champ.
Yeah,
because their teams are going to go deep into the fourth quarter, and they're going to come down to the last possession, and they're all going to look like that TCU Colorado game. That's what every Pac-12 game is going to look like.
Yeah. You know what's weird too about the Pac-12, and by the way, Colorado's going to beat Nebraska. I believe that. Now, I don't think Nebraska got any offense. You know, they can't hang with them to score. I think that, you know, and it's funny because before the TCU game, Nebraska was a 8.5, 9-point favorite at Colorado. Now Colorado's a 3.5-point favorite. The game swing 11 or 12 points based on the way Nebraska played against Minnesota and the way, you know, Colorado played against TCU. But I think Colorado's going to win that game. Now they also have to play USC and Oregon this month, but they're going to beat 2-0. I think
they could be. The one thing they've got to be careful of is not getting caught up in this week, because remember, Nebraska they're backed into a corner.
Yeah.
If you go back to last Thursday and you watch that game, they screwed that game up big time. And Nebraska's got some dudes on defense. Nebraska's a lot better on defense than TCU is.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be interesting to see how this team handles this hype, because that does matter, especially when you're new and you're young, which they are. And I just think it's going to be really, really fun to watch Colorado unfold. They got to stay healthy. I think they know exactly what the deal is on defense, and there's no fixing it this year. What you saw is exactly what they are.
Yeah.
Right? And then the one thing I would say, though, I do think at some point Colorado might have to come up with some answers on the ground. I mean, they only averaged 1.6 yards a carry.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to get
maybe get some balance.
Yeah, and they'll get their kid, and they'll get Sanders hurt as well. But on Shedeur Sanders, give that kid his due as well, because he makes the right decisions. He spins the ball really well, throws a really nice deep ball. He could have been even worse. He had a couple of drops down the field.
Sure.
That's a big-time football player right there. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind that is a legit big-time football player. And I was impressed by the fact that Colorado was able to line. You know, they really didn't make mistakes. You know, they lined up properly. They went as fast as a team could possibly go. They went Tennessee fast, yet they never lined up wrong. They never jumped off sides. They always in the right formation. And the kid, time and time again, made the right decision with the ball and threw some really pretty passes. I mean, he is legit. That's not just hype. That kid's legit.
He is legit, and to be honest with you, there shouldn't be a ton of hype around him in terms of being surprised. If his dad doesn't take the Jackson State job, you know, he had multiple Power 5 offers.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a Power 5 quarterback playing at the FCS level, makes the jump up. So of all the players, he's going to have the least learning curve.
Yeah.
Because he is gifted. He is talented. He was a Power 5 guy coming out.
Yeah.
And then you add Hunter, who's a number 1 overall ranked player. You had Dylan Edwards, who's a difference maker. Cormani McLean, who we didn't see much of or make too many plays, but at corner, he was a top 5 overall player for everybody in the country. So, you know, they got a handful of guys. And what this did to me for Colorado is this is going to light a fuse.
Yeah.
As long as they don't go in the tank, as long as they're in game and maybe they win a couple of more, but they, you know, that they're relevant. They lit a fuse in name, image, and likeness. They lit a fuse in recruiting. That they have something to really build on. And I'm not talking about for this year. I'm talking about for what's more important, and that's the next 2 to 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Because if you start getting those caliber of players like they have with the handful, and you start littering them throughout the 2 and 3 deep, now we're having a different conversation.
All right, before I let you go, Ole Miss and Tulane you have this week. This is a game a lot of people were pointing towards. The SEC did not have a good week, 1-3 against Power 5s.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were 11-3 and everything, but forget about that. Now, this is a game, they didn't lose any games to any group of 5s, but this is one where they go against Tulane down there. This could be tricky. Ole Miss looked really good opening weekend, and they need to go down there and take care of business for the sake of the league and for the sake of themselves.
Yeah, no, they do, and they're playing a team that you don't want to take lightly. I think we've seen what Tulane's capable of. We saw what they did to SC. They just beat a team that was 10-2 a year ago. It should have some really good quarterback play as we see it right now. I just like this matchup. It's not a great weekend, but this matchup is really intriguing. Two top 25 teams.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I again appreciate you. Glad you got out of their hole. And certainly if Tulane wins against Ole Miss, there'll be another bum rush, and you'll be right in the middle of it.
I have to do it again. All right.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
See ya. Bye.
All right, we got to get tell me what to do, Grizz, because I just realized that went real long. We're going to get a break in here. We're going to come back and wrap it up. No, we're going to keep it. You want me to keep it and then go out? All right, I guess we're going to keep it and then go out. That was a fast show. That was just a weird, fast show. So we're going to keep it and then go out. How many tickets do we have left for the game tomorrow, by the way? Any? 6? So we have 6 tickets left for tomorrow's game. 6 tickets left. We'll be broadcasting from the Rock Porch tomorrow in right field. I want you to come over and say hello. Businessman special. It's not the kids are in school now, right? It's kind of weird. So it's a businessman special. 11 o'clock start to the game. 12 o'clock start to the show. Come on over there and see us tomorrow. We'll have some fun with that. And we got a lot on the show tomorrow, too. We're just scratching the surface. We're going to start looking at Alabama, Texas is the big story the rest of the week. We'll be getting into that, plus the start of the NFL season. We won't ignore that either. But that'll do it for us. Coming up next is the Paul Feinbaum Show. The Drive, it's Taco Tuesday down there at the Furniture Factory, and that's where they'll be. I'm Thom Abraham. This is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.